And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh!
Milo gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Swack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it at Auto Club.
Throwback 200 live at Darlington Raceway. Live on VSPEED. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside Alec Martinez. In the Throwback 200, we're going to have some classic paint schemes from childhood, from long-lost memories, from the peak of NASCAR. And what better place to do it than the 1.36-mile oval, Darlington Raceway. The egg-shaped track with the steep bank 1 and 2 and the narrow grooves. The Lady in Black. We love this place. And tell you what, Alec Martinez, you've hit the wall here a time or two, as have I. Everyone here is going to have a stripe by the end of it.
They don't call it the Darlington stripe for nothing, and that's going to be something we're definitely going to see a lot of guys do. You're going to see guys go up a little bit too high. They're going to go up and they're going to hit that wall. I guarantee you, most likely the winner, if not every single car in this race, will have a Darlington stripe, whether it's on the right front, right side, or right rear. If not, if the car that wins doesn't, I think they're going to win for a reason, because normally you don't get a Darlington stripe, you're keeping it pretty clean, but usually you don't win. You got to try here. And if you don't push it hard enough, you don't earn a Darlington stripe, you might not win this race. So a competitive field here tonight. Last week had a lot of cautions. This week, will we see a lot of cautions is the question, but I'm looking forward to seeing that and figuring that out here in the next few minutes.
Yeah, Martinsville, it was no shortage of action. In fact, crash the stream. That's how many crashes we had.
Yeah.
It was all over the place, but very enjoyable race. And we're in the second to last race of the season. Two-time points multipliers coming up. We're getting ready to grid about 2 minutes. We're going to take a quick commercial break and get a word from our sponsors, try to fit in as many as we can, and we'll be back right after this.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey street fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
Back to you live, and we're gridding on the front stretch. Starting on the pole here tonight, Ben Baffert with a 29.982. That's hauling the mail, the only 29 on the track. And he's going to start inside of Seth Hatchell in the second position in that front row. Second row is going to belong to Bailey Turner and the fan favorite David Shieldhouse in fourth position. Fifth spot, Adam Cabot, putting a lot of speed together, and Jeff Wright, the points leader, right next to him. Seventh position, Keith Mayato with Yusuf Ghali in eighth. Ninth spot will be Chris Simard, and rounding out your top 10 is Joshua Banks.
And in 11th, you got Ronnie Osborne, the 55. To his outside will be Eric Hutton. 13th will be Noah Mikulski. 14th, AJ Stravato. 15th will be Nick Starling. And to his outside, Lyle Sofridge in the 70. 17th behind them will be Casey Lacanis. And the outside will go to Justin Carey. Mark McFadden and Dennis Shercloth will roll out to row 20. And starting shotgun on the field here tonight will be Max Cost in the 63. Be a heck of a show here from Darlington. Before we get this green flag, I gotta ask you, who's your pick?
Oh man, you know I've been on a kind of a drought here. I was doing really good there at the start of the season.
You were.
Man, let's go with the 20 of Shieldhouse. I think Shieldhouse has been overdue for a win, and he's been strong. Last couple races, just not able to get the win done.
Well, I like the speed that I've seen out of the 36 car. In practice, had really good speed on the long run, and he's just so good here. So I'd expect him to maybe get some spots, see him make some passes. It might be tough. It's going to be tough to pass here in the Lady in Black as Keith Mayato. I think that's my pick to win this race, as the pace car has pulled off throwback schemes, not throwback schemes, but all here at Darlington Raceway. Hot sunny day at the virtual Darlington Raceway in South Carolina. Into the Geico restart zone we go. Ben Baffert leads the field to green, and we're underway.
And swiping away the lead right out the gate. Seth Hatchell takes it away from Baffert on the outside, and you should have saw how sideways that 8 car was off of turn 2.
Yeah, cold tires. This car's going to be wobbling off the corners here. It's too wide off of turn 2. Osmer and Eric Hutton gets tight there in the back there as well. But let me tell you, AJ Stravato also up in that mix of cars here. As you can see, the first battle is too wide. Till now we get Jeff Wright and Yusuf Ghali battling. Jeff Wright, your points leader, can seal the championship tonight if he keeps it out of harm's way and beats Bailey Turner. And I'll tell you right now, though, Eric Hutton, unfortunately, he's going to need a miracle, especially with Jeff Wright and Bailey Turner. Jeff Wright almost catches the wall in that Jimmy Johnson 2008 Lowe's 48 machine. As he'll back out of the gas, he'll lose one spot, maybe a second spot to Bailey Turner in the 24 DuPont Chevrolet as well. I'll tell you what, that entire inside lane on the start did not go at all.
Yeah, it looked like Ben Baffert maybe spun the tires. This is a very abrasive surface, but it can also have a lot of loose material on it because there is nowhere for the marbles to go. You're right up next to the wall.
Well, remember, the track did reset, so there is no marbles. It was a clean racetrack, green racetrack. And now it's kind of, there will be marbles now, but that bottom lane just seemed to spun the tire. Everybody spun the tires. Bailey spun the tires. Ben spun the tires. That allowed the entire outside lane to just get a nice run through. Who did he?
Yeah, I think Justin Carey might have got up into the wall, and Max Koss, Mark McFadden, these guys all dropped way back from the field. They had to check up hard. I watched the timing and scoring. They lost about 7 seconds to the lead now because of that incident.
He may or may not have touched the wall, and a lot of guys are going to get up into the outside wall here. They call it the Lady in Black for a reason. Usually in real life, when you hit the wall, the tire and the rubber and the paint smear against the wall and you get those black marks. In iRacing, you don't get that, but in real life you would. So that's why they call it the Lady in Black here in Darlington. Let me tell you, leader right now, Seth Hatchell, 2-time champion, looking for that second win this season. He's been doing a heck of a job, but so far he's got Baffert and Shieldhouse top 3, and they've kind of pulled away from everybody.
Yeah, the top 3, and hey, maybe I'm back on point here because Shieldhouse
Maybe.
showing a lot of speed. He's carried right here with Baffert. It's just going to be an object of when do they make a mistake. That's how you pass at Darlington. The guy in front of you has to make a mistake, lift out of the throttle, and you see Hatchell. He's pushing it hard here to stay in front of Baffert. That could be the case here.
Yeah, and it's, you know, who pushes their tires the least, right? But can keep the speed up, because we know Darlington, like you said, abrasive surface, tires really wear out here, and if you burn your tires off here in a later run, you're definitely going to feel it, especially at a track like Darlington. And we talk about the lanes. You got guys on the bottom. You don't see that much at Darlington. These days you do, because you're trying to save tires, but later in this race, we'll start to see this track widen out. We might see guys up on the wall, especially after 150 laps of rubber getting put down. I think you might see this track change a ton, at least with lanes do when we run later in this race.
They're coming off of turn 2. Looks like Hatchell's going to lead another one, but these guys spreading out all single file. Pretty usual look here at Darlington thus far, 8 laps into the race. Then Baffert, second position, your pole sitter. He's dropping back a couple tenths here. Maybe that clean air for Seth Hatchell starting to pay off.
Well, it definitely will be. And earlier, when they've raced here past seasons, I remember Keith Mayato had clean air in a cup race, in the cup car in the Gen 6, and I remember it was so hard to get by him with that clean air. Chris Samard really wide off the corner and allowed Mikulski to get by. Same with Lakatos, but here comes Ronnie Osper in the 55. That car, for anybody going back here, throwback to the 55 of Mark Martin in the Arid's Dream Machine when he had that car. You got Casey Lakatos. I think that's a Ryan Newman throwback. If not, that's just a normal. Is that a Ryan Newman throwback? In the 50 car, it looks kind of similar. Yeah, it's not very similar looking, but nice paint scheme. Then you got right ahead, Mikulski in the Tide car. That's a common throwback, but a nice one though. A classic Ricky Craven, Ricky Rudd throwback. There's the other Newman throwback with
yeah, that was definitely a Newman.
Carey.
Definitely a Newman on that carry machine. And we were looking. You were wanting to show me a few of these different cars. Ultimately, at the halfway point, we're going to have to pick one of these schemes.
Yeah, and most fun out, Yusuf Ghali, that throwback. It's a throwback to a VRL race that he got wrecked in. He was going to win, and he got wrecked on the final laps. That was his scheme for that race, a throwback. An iconic meme, if you so will, for us in VRL and BTDY, for a lot of guys who've been racing in the same leagues over time. But that is a throwback to a Pocono race way back in the day in VRL when he got turned. I don't know if that race was broadcast on VSPEED or not, but it may have been. When Adam Cabot got into him. So far, looking at throwback, Ben Baffert on a throwback. That's is that Andy Hillenberg?
I can't remember the exact. I remember it was like late 80s, early 90s when those bros were all over the car.
Might have to ask him later in this race if we get a caution, but
I have to go back on that.
Yeah, we'll take a look. I like that car. It's a nice car. Joshua Banks, Dale Earnhardt paint scheme. I like the little addition that Banks has to his right side. It's the throwback to the 2000 Talladega race when Dale Sr. won his final race. He's got the tire marks on the side. I love it.
It's perfect.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. Bailey Turner. Got a nice throwback. I know you were telling me earlier in the show might be your favorite.
A little biased. I'm a little biased.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon.
Fan.
Jeff Gordon fans, that 2009 Charlotte, I believe. As Ben Baffert looking for the lead here.
Peeking down to the inside of one. Here. It's going to be tight.
Oh, man. So tough to make a move here at Darlington, especially into turn one. Turn one, probably one of the worst places you can pass with how much the corner tightens up in the center. And Ben washing up. I almost got into the left rear Seth Hatchell and took all three of these guys out.
Baffert actually lost some ground, and that opened up the door a little bit for Shieldhouse, but he's also not able to get to the inside. Now down the front straightaway, these guys get reeled back in slowly to Yusuf Ghali, who's brought it down to about 0.7 of a second. Yeah. As this race continues on, they're moving up the track. I don't know if you've noticed that or not, but it's moved up a lane.
Yeah, Banks and Cabot. Cabot really loose down the backstretch there. That turn 2 exit tightens up there, and like you said, yeah, these guys are going to start moving up. We talked about there's no rubber up there now. Guys laying rubber after 150 laps. That top lane may become dominant. We know Darlington You got to be up on the wall to be fast eventually later into this run. Will we see that happen? We don't know, but it looks like it might be possible as Mayato and Adam Cap really tight into the corner there. Mayato trying to get the spot. It's good to be on the top for the first 3/4 of this corner, and then off of 2, it tightens up so much like this. And then you can see that you lose so much time because the guy on the top can't keep you down there, or can't keep it up there, and the guy on the bottom doesn't have any side force to the car.
Yeah, as they run this is going to wear the tires out, and Hutton's starting to lose ground.
Bafford's back underneath Seth Hatchell here for the lead.
Contact.
Oh.
I think maybe Hutton touched him there for a split second.
Oh, it's going to be tight into the corner here as Bafford just got by Seth Hatchell. Hatchell lost another position to David Shieldhouse as well. As Mayato gets the spot, Cabot gets back in line, gets loose, but yeah, Ben Bafford to the point, pole sitter finally gets his first lap led, but Hatchell loses 2 spots in one corner. David Shieldhouse, man, he's been biding his time, and he's really putting the pace down. He's been all over Bafford this entire run, but even then, that's allowed Jeff Wright and Yusuf Gala to catch up as well. Top 5 is going to be under a blanket here pretty soon.
Hut Strickland, according to Adam Bacon. So that was the throwback.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, Adam.
I appreciate you.
The guy back in always behind the scenes, working all the magic here, all the magical overlays, the buttons that we have available here on VSPEED. Thank Adam Baker, for all the work he puts in. It's been a great season here at BTDY. 20 laps almost into this thing, and it's been a great season. 19 laps, 19 races.
Yes, sir. That is right. That was a good time. I like that. That was good.
We segue every now and then, right?
Yeah, we did. That was good. That was really good. I applaud that one. And I'll tell you what, this season's been so great. So many different winners. And next year it might even be even crazier next year with more winners with the switching of cars, the next gen and the Gen 4 car. I believe the next gen's going to be here next year, so that'll be interesting. I know we're going to be in for, the next gen is here at Darlington next year. I know the Xfinity cars are not going to be shifting, and the next gen you will be shifting here, so that'll be interesting to see when we cover BTDY Racing Season 2 here next year. But I'll tell you what, Ben Bafford's starting to fall off. This is allowing Shieldhouse to get closer and closer.
Yeah, and I was watching Golly is caught up, Jeff Wright's caught up. So now the 5 cars on top of each other, less than a second separating them.
Yeah, Golly was a 10th faster than all 4 of these guys last time. Oh, David Shieldhouse brushes the outside wall there. Right now, fastest car on the racetrack is that 54, Yusuf Golly. We'll see the lap times kind of click back off here, but yeah, Golly showing the pace in that 54 car. Peak, right.
Watching the 23 get really close to that outside wall. That might have been an opportunity for Shieldhouse as he starts to push up on this rear bumper. Bafford back to the lead after setting that pole. Is starting to wear down. You can see these guys, they ran out to a pretty sizable lead, and now it's starting to reel back in.
Yeah, Yusuf Golly all over the back bumper of Seth Hatchell here. Now here he comes, looking down to the inside. It's going to get really tight up here. Now here comes Jeff Wright, and Jeff Wright in a little bit different scheme. The Jimmy Johnson throwback, back to when he won 3 straight championships in that car. And Jeff Wright, man, at the rate he's going right now, looks like he can clinch his first ever BTDY championship right now. And I'll tell you what, he's doing a great job. Biding his time up into the top 5 here. And so far, I think he started what did he start? 6th? He's up to 5th right now. So having himself a solid run, doing everything he needs to do to have a chance, if not clinch that championship 1 race in advance.
I think there's a little speech bubble in the back of that 54. I was trying to read it. Something about please don't hurt me. I can't exactly read what it says, but...
Exactly what it says.
Just stay off the back bumper as the 54 goes to the inside of Seth Hatchell for the 4th position. Now tightening up, and it looks like Seth's going to hold side by side down the front stretch, lifting out of it.
No, he couldn't do it. Now here comes Jeff Wright to the inside of the 8. Hatchell's led the first 15 laps, now starting to trickle back to the mid-pack here is Bailey Turner, the second place driver in points right now. Kind of behind these guys, about a second behind, settling himself in 6th here. And he really hasn't gained or lost to these guys. So he's just kind of biding his time. He's just kind of laying low right now. But right now he needs Jeff Wright to have an issue. As I believe Lyle Sofer just brought it down to pit road in the 70. He'll go into the pits.
Long pit road here. The entryway into the pits wraps around into turn 4 or into turn 3 almost. So it's very difficult to get on pit road. You start your entry almost as you enter turn 3.
Yep. It's a long one here. It's 5 sets of tires for these guys. They might not need to use all of them here as David Shieldhouse pressuring Ben Baffert for the lead here. Shieldhouse getting a little more of a diamond through the corner, lets the car track up a little bit, and then he cuts it back down on exit, but it seems to be working. He gets such a nice run off the corner. This time, he'll look to the inside of the 23 Hillsboro's Toyota Supra. Baffert not going to be able to give it up here. Shieldhouse slides up the corner. Baffert almost catches the wall. They'll single file out off of turn number 2. Here comes Golly in the 54.
That was almost a move, but Shieldhouse tagged that apron there on the entrance of 1. It moved and slid the car up the track. Loses all that momentum, now has to regain, build it back up. He's killing him in turn 4. Look at this exit speed that Shieldhouse gets, but after that scrub, the front tires might be a little angry.
Yeah, I think Baffert doesn't have the rear tires that David Shieldhouse has. Shieldhouse has really good speed drive off, especially in the middle of the corners in the neighborhood. He loses a little bit entry to center, but once he gets off the corner, he has so much more exit speed than really Baffert or anybody in this field. I think Golly might be the only one that's able to pressure him, but Shieldhouse, you see him using a different line. He lets the car track up a little bit more than Baffert, and then he cuts it down, and he gets such a nice run off the corner. As how about this behind them? Chris Samard, or excuse me, not Chris Samard. Keith Mayato and Joshua Banks going at it right now. It's for 7th with AJ Stravato. These guys side by side in the middle of 1 and 2. It's going to get really tight here off of turn 2. Mayato gets the position from Banks. Now it's up to Banks and Stravato. And remember what happened last week? Those two got together. Banks was none too pleased as Stravato looks down to the inside.
Thought of giving him plenty of room and actually tags the apron to help the car rotate. Gets the move to the inside.
Oh, here comes Shieldhouse again.
He tried it once and one. It's just not working there.
Ooh, and Jeff Wright right behind him was able to get by Seth Hatchell there for 4th. He'll try to close into this battle. And I'll tell you what, man, Shieldhouse is cutting Baffert a lot of breaks, but he's also now got to be careful here when he makes that move because he's got Yusuf Golly behind. If Shieldhouse has to slip up and stay on Baffert to the inside, Golly can get to his outside and get right on by. But Baffert's just struggling with the handling of that car. Shieldhouse continues to get runs off of turn 4, and here he comes.
All right, one more time here. Shieldhouse hangs with him this time.
It's going to be tight here off of 2. Oh, contact! They get it safe, but here comes Golly. Now Shieldhouse has to get in line, man. This is great racing at Darlington.
Not quite enough room there for Shieldhouse to get in. Now a pinch down to the bottom. The 23 holds him down there for as long as he can. He's going to run out of track, though.
No, he just couldn't hold it. Now side by side again into turn 1. Shieldhouse gets the nod. Oh no, Baffert got him into 1, but what a send for David Shieldhouse into 1. He gets Baffert, the 20 car to the lead. Now here comes Yusuf Golly in the 54. Oh, man, he had to back out. Jeff Wright had to back out. Now Wright goes down to the inside. Golly blocks.
Wright almost makes a move there on the 54, but there's just nowhere to go. These guys are all bunched up. Hatchell's caught back up to him. The new leader, David Shieldhouse. He's going to lead this time by 2 laps led for the 20.
Doing the thing here so far. David Shieldhouse in the heartbeat, hot sauce, Chevrolet Camaro, really going at it. But Baffert, he's not going to go out without a fight. Oh, he gets loose off the corner. Same with Shieldhouse. They both keep it together, but Baffert starting to pressure the 20 again. He bumps the 20. He moves him up the track.
He's wide out on the exit of 4. It looks like the opening is there for Baffert. Now racing down the front straightaway. Throwback to the Roval race where these guys battled hard for the 3rd position. Now doing it for the lead.
It's looking like that right now, but Baffert almost gets up into the outside wall there in the middle of 1 and 2. This has been a battle and a half. Baffert all over the back bumper as you're on board with David Shieldhouse. Baffert all over the rear end here. Can he loosen him up and get by? Here comes Golly in the 54. He closes up to the back of the 23. It just looks like Shieldhouse is able to get the better run off of 4. But right now it's 5 cars under a blanket. Golly gets loose off the corner. And I'll tell you what, Keith Mayato got by Bailey Turner, and he's starting to run these guys down.
Yeah,
Mayato 3/10 of a second faster than these guys.
Once he clears that traffic, it's kind of smooth sailing for quite a ways.
And he's got clean air too, so
2 seconds.
Really move.
2 seconds of clean air in front of him. He'll be setting some faster lap times, but once he gets up in the wake of that 8 car of Seth Hatchell, I think it'll slow down tremendously.
For sure, is AJ Stravato's slide job by Bailey Turner. Turner just struggling on pace once again this week. And look up, man, AJ Stravato loose off the corner. He'll go up to 7th. The Italian Stallion still winless in this season. Amazing. I can't believe I'm saying that. AJ Stravato winless this season, but still nonetheless.
Contact here with the 17 and the Samard and Cabot going into
Here comes
1.
Osborne.
Really
Heck of a
close call
save.
there.
That was almost the first caution on an intermediate this track in quite some time. Good save by Chris Samard, and I'll tell you what though. But right now, at the pace that Keith Mayato is going, he might be able to run him down. Again, like you said, 2 seconds to get to his teammate Seth Hatchell. We'll see this. These top 5 still under a blanket here. More like top 4. Hatchell starting to lose some contact. I'll tell you what, looks like David Shieldhouse starting to turn on the jets. He's starting to pull away. He's gotten about about 3 car length lead now into turn number 3. So we'll see what happens here. But Shieldhouse starting to let that car track up a little bit more and cut it down. Definitely a different line from everybody's been hooking that bottom.
Oh, the 23 loose. Off of the 4, he got really loose. Golly and right. Almost had to dodge him. He's able to keep it off the wall. But now rides way up into 1. That car is starting to, I think it's starting to run out of right rear.
Definitely is. And let's see here. I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to go on fuel. And we talk about green flag pit stops all season. You want to know what the hardest pit road to get on here, or get on in the entire schedule? It's Darlington. The track, it's so uneven as Baffert almost catches the wall again. You have to go all the way from the apron all the way down to the flat, and usually that flat is dirty, it's dusty, there's no grip. I've seen the best of the best in NASCAR losing. I remember one time Kyle Larson was so good. He was lights out on the field in an Xfinity race, and what happened?
Oh, we have a yellow.
Big crash, Chris Samart's in the wall.
That's going to reset things. Shieldhouse was starting to pull away, and we were going to run on board with him to show you that pit road entry.
Oh.
But
We got
caution
a
number
Joshua.
1.
Big wreck in turn 1 with Joshua Banks and Adam Cabot involved as well. Let's see if we can get a replay of what happened. And you know what's crazy? That is the first caution on an intermediate since, I believe, Las Vegas. And hard hit there for Samar. That was head on pretty much. Adam Cabot caught up in it, and so was Joshua Banks. So that's an unfortunate there for those 3 cars. Wow. Big hit there. And man, and you know what's crazy, Bradley?
What's that?
It's going to be the first time in the Geico restart zone, and I just figured this out. That is the first caution on an intermediate track since Michigan.
Wow. So we're talking about 10, 15, well,
Well,
say
if
15
you want to
races
count
ago?
Dover, you can count Dover, I guess. But even then, because Charlotte, we had a caution-free race. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I mean, you know, on the intermediate races, we've had a lot of caution-free races. So I couldn't really count.
It's been a clean season all season long. These guys have done a tremendous job. They've really spoiled us with the racing they've put on.
They really have.
Put us in a lot of
Crucial pit stops. Oh, Baffert misses his box.
Looked like Bailey Turner might have missed his a little bit too. He had to back it up.
It's going to be interesting to see here. Shieldhouse was able to get a good entry in. Here comes Stravato, a really good stop for the 33 crew. As Shieldhouse out of pit road. Then how about Seth Hatchell? Looked like he was able to beat Ben Baffert off of pit road. Bailey Turner losing a lot of spots there. He'll go all the way back down to 9th. And like I said, this is going to be a restart. We don't really know what we're going to see here on this restart. We haven't really seen restarts in BTDY this year. I know we had a lot last week, but like we said on the intermediates, it's really hasn't been a thing for the last 5 or 6 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see what will these guys choose. We saw the inside lane struggle last time. Will we see guys take the top? As Lyle Sofridge, I believe, got the lucky dog. Noah Mikulski's sitting in pit road still, unfortunately. I don't know what's going on with the 10 car. He's going to lose a lap. Oh, no, he's barely exiting. So Joshua Banks, Adam Cabot, lots of damage on those 2 race cars, those Chevy Camaros, as the Ford Mustang of Mikulski brought it in. Lyle Sofridge, I believe, will get 1 lap back, so he goes back to 1 lap down here as David Shieldhouse off to pit road. You know what? Is he in Discord, David Shieldhouse. He is. You know what? How about we pull up David Shieldhouse?
Yeah, let's bring him in.
Let's see. David Shieldhouse, Alec Martinez, Bradley Cooper in the VC booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I was just sitting here talking to myself. Hello.
Oh, well, well, now you can talk to us for a second. You got the lead from Ben, a hard battle. I just want to say thank you for being in Discord this time so I can pull you in. But also, I'm glad to be talking to you. How do you feel for the rest of this race?
I feel like I got these guys covered on long range pace. I was just talking about that. Like, I just stretched it to about a half a second, and the car was feeling really good. So, I feel like I got this exactly where I want it to be. So, I was really not wanting to see a yellow flag there, but that's okay. Just got to get back into rhythm here, run our pace, and just let these guys take care of themselves. You know, controlling the restart here, being the leader is a good thing. I just got to be careful to not drive past the pace that I need to. Hopefully we can keep it green going forward.
All right, well, we wish you the best of luck here, brother. Go get him.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
David Shieldhouse, first place driver right now on the field, and we watched him battle with Ben Baffert for probably a good 20 laps before that pass finally happened. It took a while for Shieldhouse to actually get the rotation and stick to the bottom and hang with him.
Yeah, he chooses the inside lane. Interesting to see here.
Could have just been a hoax.
That actual benefited the last time he was on the outside lane starting second, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's just probably a matter of who gets the best run, who gets the tires to hook up. Clean track, a little different situation here. We've rubbered it up a little bit. Might change things. We might see both the front runners go side by side into turn one. It's going to be hard to tell. Yusuf Ghali, Ben Baffert, your second row. Hatchell up there on the outside. My Auto, your pick. And Jeff Wright, the points leader, all the way back to row three.
That's going to be interesting.
Race car off. Here we come out of turn four. David Shieldhouse about to lead him off into turn one. A hungry Ben Baffert right behind him. And we're down and away for the second time today at Darlington.
Guys just did not go. Baffert and Mayato did not get going on the restart. They were able to get it back together, but let's see side by side in 1 and 2 between Baffert and Ghali. They'll get it single filed and sorted out here, but now the battle on for fifth. Baffert loses momentum. Oh, next cost! Big save out of the 63 car.
He falls back to the 19th position, though. Back up here to the front. They're side by side. My Auto on the outside there for a brief second. He's got Stravato now on the inside for the 6th spot.
These two always seem to find each other on the racetrack. Keith Mayato and AJ Stravato, two of the winningest drivers in the BTDY Racing Series. As Stravato has to back out, allows Keith Mayato to clear him, and he'll stay in 6th. As, oh man, cuts the nose off there. The 33 loses it. And how about Eric Hutton, the Keynes machine? He's closing up in the battle now inside, well inside the top 10, up running in 9th. And Bailey Turner, the second place position in points, has fallen back to 9th. How about Ronnie Osmer in the 55 up into 10th with Nick Starling right behind him?
We watched Eric Hutton there last Saturday, so just a few days ago. Almost beats Jeff Wright in Las Vegas. Now coming off of that momentum, we know that Hutton's hungry for a win. He's come so close here at BTDY. You've got to win at SNR. But I tell you what, the 88 car has been strong all season long. We talked about the miracle that needs to happen, but he's been so consistent, and being in the top 3 without a win, that's an accomplishment.
He really has been Mr. Consistency. He's reminded me a lot of how Kevin Harvick has been these last few years. Hasn't got wins, but man, he's consistent, puts together the runs, and a veteran. He's won championships in other leagues. As you can see on board with Yusuf Ghali, Ben Baffert going at it. As Baffert backs out, Ghali keeps on to the 3rd position. But next year, I expect big things out of Eric Hutton. That Gen 4 car, like you said. Same with Jeff Wright. Jeff Wright, he's looking like he's going to be clinching that championship tonight. But I know he's not a big fan of the next gen, but I know he's a big fan of the Gen 4 car. I expect Eric Hutton, Jeff Wright to shine in that Gen 4 car, and maybe somebody like Joshua Banks as well to shine in those kind of cars. I'm curious to see. I know like the switching between the next generation car and the Generation 4 car. It's going to be interesting to see who can adapt to the conditions well, and throughout a whole season.
Starting to tighten back up here. Shieldhouse was in the lead by about 0.3 of a second. It's now down to 0.2. Hatchell falls back. They both kind of fall back to Yusuf Ghali, who, I mean, he's got pressure from Baffert. But I don't think Bafford's going to make the move quite yet.
I know Bafford looks very antsy behind the 54, and there he goes, peeking his nose to the inside. Oh my goodness! Man, he almost got into the 54 there, and they could be able to get the spot. You know, Golly, I felt like had a little bit better pace than the 23 and the 8 the last run. He wasn't on par with the 20, but he was close enough with Shieldhouse to match him maybe on a long run. And you don't want to lose too many positions. You don't want to lose that track position, especially with Shieldhouse and clean air. You don't really want to give that up. And right now, he's falling back to 4th. He's going to need a long run here. And like we said, this really changes up the strategy. They pitted on lap 40. What will this do for the strategy? How many laps are you going to want to go to get to that 150?
I'm out here swelling up my ego. I got love from the chat just now. I appreciate that, Von Flynn. Thank you for the kind words. Would be nothing without Adam Bacon and Alec Martinez, though.
Oh, wow. God, I appreciate you. But we appreciate you coming on board here these last few months. And we've really widened out VSPEED here, and it's because of this man I'm talking to right here. Bradley Cooper has really helped us out. So looking forward to the future of other series coming in here soon for the summer. We're going to have some good series coming up. And I can say it mainly going to be the trucks.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of trucks. We're going to have a lot of racing, some weekend stuff. And it's all in the evening, so perfect time. But look at the spread here. This is David Shieldhouse, and we go all the way back to Lyle Salford in the 20th position. He's 1 lap down. Mark McFadden would be coming out of turn 2 right now. And again, comparison, Shieldhouse into 3.
You give a little Mark McFadden. He's got his throwback.
Yeah, let's check that one out.
Yeah, for Fred Lorenzen, he was telling me. So back to the 1960s is what he's throwing back to. I like that old school. And yeah, Fred Lorenzen in the old 00 car, I believe. Throwback. Yeah, I love that car. It really fits the Darlington style. You got that old scheme. You got the cubic inches number on the hoods of the engines. I love that. It's so awesome to see.
So checking out here, David Shieldhouse has led since he took over for 22, now 23 laps this time by. He said exactly what we kind of think when we approach Darlington. Let these guys take care of themselves. Maintain your position. Don't let them make a big move. Let them use their tires up. And that's exactly what's going on as he starts to pull away 0.3 of a second now over Seth Hatchell. And Bafford just hasn't really had that fire that he had at the start of this race.
No, I think Bafford definitely has the best short run pace of anybody. As you can see behind Keith Maiato, AJ Stravato going at it, Eric Hutton closing in as well. Maiato able to keep onto the position. But talk about the short run and long run pace. Darlington's definitely a long run track because it goes green most of the time, and the tires they just melt here. And you get that long run pace. You're able to make that car do what you need to do after a 50-lap run, showcase the speed that you really got. Races are won on the long run here at Darlington, not on the short run, unless, it comes down to a 5-6 lap shootout.
Nick Starling in the 11th position. That's another throwback, kind of looking at the 7. I'm trying to think, is that like a Brett Bodine?
Kevin Harvick.
Kevin Harvick, okay.
Yes, Kevin Harvick payday car. That was back from 2002, I believe, when he was in the Busch Series, or the current day Xfinity Series, if you so will. And speaking of Kevin Harvick, his final season, so maybe paying a little homage to Kevin Harvick in his final Cup Series season. So yeah, he's, Nick Starling rocking the Kevin Harvick throwback. I like that car.
He's looking good out there right now in the 11th spot. Pretty solid day here for Nick Starling. Ronnie Osmer has stayed consistently in the top 10. So the 55 Dude Wipes machine. Having a good one as well. Tell you who's not happy with his performance so far, and that would be Bailey Turner. He's running in the 9th position. He's going to have to make something happen because Jeff Wright is four spots ahead of him in the 5th spot. Ooh. Jeff's not really pushing it tonight. He's up there in the top 5, but he's not pushing it. He has no reason to.
Those four spots might cost Bailey Turner 20 points with the 2 times points format here, so that's going to be very unfortunate. Oh, Joshua Banks has caught the outside wall. That car limping around the racetrack, and already he's been into the wall a few times, so a lot of damage on the 35 car.
Whole right side is beat up, and he's riding it again. It looks like maybe a malfunction here with the wheel. 35 car.
Tire comes wrong there. The suspension with the 35 car is struggling around this racetrack.
Something's definitely broke here in the 35. He can't get it to rotate anymore.
Yeah, no, he's struggling here. He probably will pull it down to pit road here soon, as the battle for the lead has lengthened out a second. About an 8/10 of a second gap for David Shieldhouse. Shieldhouse running a lot higher than anybody else. He gets that diamond in the middle of 3 and 4, and let me tell you, it's just working, and Shieldhouse continues to stretch that gap. As Golly was actually pressuring the 23 of Baffert a little bit and kind of backed off a little bit, but now he's coming back. Later in this run, Golly tends to be the best running car other than Shieldhouse as the run goes on. So we'll see what happens here, as anywhere from Hatchell all the way back to about Eric Hutton is pretty close.
Yeah, lap times about 31 flat all the way through from Yusuf Ghali down to Eric Hutton, 32nd, 0.9. That's all really tight. We're talking about a couple hundredths of a second separating these 4 and 5 cars. Fieldhouse has ran a 30.982 that last time by. He is pulling ground on Seth Hatchell, about a 10th per lap. And moving on back through the field one more time, we've got David Shieldhouse, your leader, Seth Hatchell, who's led a few laps here tonight, in the 2nd position. Ben Baffert, your pole sitter, in 3rd. Yusuf Ghali, who's shown strong pace, in 4th position, and your points leader, Jeff Wright, in 5th. Behind him, Alex Pick, Keith Maiato in 6th spot, with AJ Stravato in 7th. Eric Hutton in 8th, Mr. Consistency, holding that top 10 tonight. And then Bailey Turner 2nd in points, trying to make something happen. Ronnie Osmer rounding out the top 10. And honorable mention here tonight, Nick Starling with his 11th place spot. He's been holding on to that pretty much all race long.
Yeah. Casey Lakatos, who's 12th here behind him in the SimTV Toyota Supra. Dennis Faircloth, that Max Pappas throwback. I like that scheme. He's running in 13th. Justin Carey, Noah Mikulski's in 14th here in that time car. You got Justin Carey in 15th in that Ryan Newman throwback. Max Koss behind him in 16th. I think this is a little bit of a Jimmy Johnson scheme flow. It's different colors, but still a for effort there. And then you got Adam Cabot. He's really struggling here. A lot of damage on that Atlas 17 Chevrolet. The Magic Man has not had a magical night tonight, so he's up here in 17th. Mark McFadden is in 18th in that Fred Lorenzen throwback. Joshua Banks struggling in 19th. He's in the Dale Earnhardt throwback here. Lyle Sofridge is unfortunately 1 lap down. He's brought it back down to pit road in that bright green Chevrolet Camaro with the 70 car. He's pacing around here. He's brought in Chris Samard, unfortunately still in pit road here. In the 77, so he is gone. As David, speaking of gone, David Shieldhouse is gone, but Seth Hatchell now starting to get some pressure from Baffert and Ghali.
Oh, race starts to shape up. David Shieldhouse, your leader. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back. Green flag pit stops probably coming up very soon, so stand by right after this.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the nurturing reader at New Jersey street fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
been no shortage of action since we took you to commercial break. You just witnessed the 33 of AJ Stravato come off the corner completely sideways. And let's go back and take a look at Yusuf Ghali's ride as he comes off of turn 2.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Sliding the back end down really loose. Good save there from the 54, and then we saw it as well. Ben Baffert getting by. Seth Hatchell and Yusuf Ghali getting by, but Ghali with those rear tire sliding has probably hurt those tires for the end of this run. And it's kind of bottlenecked here all the way from Ghali all the way back to, oh, Stravato up to the outside wall. Getting his
Stravato,
Darlington stripe. Oh, he's still getting it.
Yeah, he got another touch there.
Yeah, Stravato gets his Darlington stripe as David Shieldhouse is almost checked out to a 2-second lead. And really the closest battle, Keith Maiato. Oh, Jeff Wright gets contact there with Keith Maiato and Eric Hutton. Now Maiato looks down to the inside, backs out of it, but Maiato gave him a nice shot off the corner, and so did Eric Hutton give a nice shot to the 36 and almost spun the 48 around as Keith Maiato, he does have a good long run so in that VSPEED Chevrolet Camaro, and he's just right now slowly but surely getting back up there. And I'll tell you what though, is Maiato looks down up to the outside as Joshua Banks has unfortunately pulled it behind the wall.
Oh,
as now
another stripe there with Stravato.
Yeah, and these guys starting to, as these tires start to wear, these cars start getting used up a little bit more. Those right sides start getting closer to the wall. As Maiato's trying to pressure Jeff Wright into a mistake here. Eric Hutton's trying to pressure Keith Maiato into a mistake, and Bailey Turner is running these guys down. And here comes Maiato looking down to the inside of Jeff Wright in the 48. He'll lose one. He might lose a second spot to Eric Hutton in the 88 as Maiato slides up the racetrack. Now here comes Eric Hutton in the 88 down to the inside. Wright can't really hold it up there. If Hutton can keep on that quarter panel here, he might be able to have a shot here into turn 1, but he just can't.
Nope, not enough momentum off of 4. Jeff Wright's going to fall back in line, but I think Jeff is starting to struggle a little bit as this run continues on. He's fallen back to the 6th, 7th position. That's allowing Bailey Turner to start to make up ground. So a little flip-flop here on lap 74. Halfway through this race, David Shieldhouse has checked out from the field. And now that we're at the halfway point, I got to ask you, we got an agreement on a car, and we've been talking about it pre-race. We've got to agree on one. So anybody out there in the chat, if there's a throwback scheme that you've seen out here on the track, maybe you can help us vote.
Ooh, man, I don't know. I really like Nick Starling's scheme. I'm a big fan of Nick Starling's scheme. I like Bailey's. I like Jeff's. I like Mark McFadden's scheme too. I really like Mark McFadden's scheme. It's a old-time scheme as Mark McFadden's unfortunately gotten a lap down. Excuse me, but I'm a big fan of Mark McFadden's scheme there, and I don't know. I think it's a toss-up between either that one or Starling's scheme for the win, honestly. In my personal opinion, if I had to pick between those two, I'd give it to Mark McFadden. I like that old-style scheme. Who do we think has the best throwback scheme here tonight, Bradley?
I don't know, I'm really liking this Ryan Newman on Justin Carey's machine. That is a sharp-looking 12 car. It's got a little damage on it. And his Faircloth getting really loose off of turn 2 right there. If we had to narrow it down, looking at the payday machine, we'll put it down between Nick Starling. I guess we'll go with Ben Baffert because that is a sharp-looking car as well.
Ben Baffert's scheme. Oh, okay.
Oh,
oh man, Mark McFadden loose off the corner. If I had to pick, excuse me, between both of those schemes, I got to go with Nick Starling's scheme. I love that Kevin Harvick throwback, that payday scheme. One of the best looking cars to hit the racetrack in the Busch Series back in the day. Big fan of that scheme.
So a recovery here for Max Cost. He's back up to 15th position. I know we haven't talked too much about Max here tonight, but he had that little hiccup there with getting loose off of 4 and slid it. Oh, he's getting loose again off of 4. Right, exactly on cue. But he has recovered back up to the top 15, so kudos to Max Cost for sticking with it. As we approach green flag pit stops, who do you think's going to bring him down first? Shieldhouse out in his own zip code.
Shieldhouse is probably going to bring him down. He's probably going to bring it down whenever Ben Baffert probably when Ben Baffert pits. I don't think you're going to want to pit too much later than some guys because we know how bad tire fall off is here. Right now, the best lap that Shieldhouse set was a 30.1, and now he's shooting 31.6s right now. So about a second and a half a fall off so far, as now Yusuf Ghali under pressure from Seth Hatchell and Keith Mayato.
Ghali was on the long run. We would probably have to call it mid-run speed for the 54.
Man.
Really tight off of 4 there, and he's going to lose 2 spots. Mayato's going to bust to the inside, follow his teammate Seth Hatchell into 1. But Ghali, we never really had that long of a run with the first stint. Now we're 40 laps into this one. It's looking like Ghali, after that 35 lap mark, starting to fall off.
Yeah, he got really loose. Yeah, and like you said, those tires really starting to fall off as well. So we'll see here as this run continues. Is Keith Mayato? Oh no, Yusuf Ghali pitting. Oh my goodness!
That was a shoot down to the inside. We were talking about difficulty here.
Hutton. Yeah,
it's hard to get on pit road. Right there, prime example.
Jeff Wright losing 2 spots there to Eric Hutton and AJ Stravado, and maybe even one to his championship rival Bailey Turner, who's closed up here as this run has gone on. Let's see, we still got maybe another pit stop to go before anything happens. Looks like Ghali will cut this run into 3rd. David Schildhouse has just got to be nice and easy here. He doesn't want to miss the entrance. We've seen many guys miss pit entry here because it's such a hard pit entry here. We saw it right there. It's dirty, it's dusty down there, and if you lock up those brakes, you will overshoot pit entry easily. And you saw it almost happen there with Yusuf Ghali. So nobody else has brought it in yet. We'll see what happens.
On board with Schildhouse, and we get a good look here from the front of the car. Pit road starts right here. You got to be down on below that apron. Yeah. So it's an entry all its own. And it catches a lot of guys off guard. If you don't practice that in warm-ups, you're gonna miss it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think Yusuf Ghali got up into the wall too. He's got some right side damage. Oh, Eric Hutton really loose off the corner. And now we're gonna be able to see how much better will Ghali's tires be as he is battling here with Justin Carey and Nick Starling. He just blew by them. And let me tell you, you'll be able to see how much pace that Yusuf Ghali has in those fresh Goodyear Eagles. I mean, look at that. He'll dive into the corner, he'll go away, and he'll pull away here as I believe Ben Baffert is bringing it down to pit road. Loose on the apron, he'll save it and get it down in time. As I think he picked up a little right rear damage on that 23 car as well. So let's see what happens to David Schildhouse. When does he bring it in?
Schildhouse now 5.2 seconds to Seth Hatchell, so he can afford to take it a little easy on his pit road entry. I'd look for him to bring it down maybe this time by.
Well, we'll see. David Schildhouse here, what he was saying is that he's thinking, you're gonna, how much longer do you want to cut this run? Do you want to go 3 laps or 3-4 laps later? We know how much time you're going to be losing. David Schildhouse turned a 31.7. Yusuf Ghali a 30.1.
Yeah, I think Yusuf Ghali,
to that car, he's going to pass